Hello and welcome to the Okawa Book Club podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Hannah.
I'm John.
Today we will be introducing the upcoming new book from Master Ryuho Okawa called Words for Life.
This is a very unique book which contains 100 proverbs or sentences of light from Master Okawa for us to contemplate on. These words came directly from heaven.
These sentences are short, but crafted for us to savor the meaning and use them to reflect on our inner self.
Depending on the day or situation, some sentences strike more than others.
That is the time we should allow ourselves time to pause, contemplate or meditate on them, and find out what these sentences are guiding us to do.
First, we would like to read from the afterword and commentary from Master Okawa.
Afterword and commentary. It seems that young people and those who are still new to the truth are finding it difficult to pick out the teachings that are necessary for them from the large collection of books I have published. So, I wrote out 100 essential short phrases in just one day and put them together in this book, Words for Life. I hope you take some time to flip through this book on the train, bus, or before you go to sleep, and meditate on the phrases and reflect on yourself. On a side note, while I wrote the phrases, I listened to the song that I wrote and composed, Awakening, on repeat to receive spiritual inspiration. So this book may serve as a good commentary on the song as well. Ryuho Okawa, December 11, 2022.
Just to give you some idea how to use this book, we each have picked up our favorite 2 sentences, and we would like to share our discoveries of how these sentences helped us to improve and empower us. So the first sentence that I chose for this was number 9. Those who think they are surrounded by idiots are by no means wise. And I thought this one, it's almost a little bit funny, but it's also really true, because it's kind of like if you are believing that you're wise and then you're wiser than everybody around you, you're never going to learn anything. Mm-hmm. And I think that the next one, number 10, which was always learn from everyone, even a thing or two, kind of expounds upon it. And there's like a mirroring, which is kind of a prevalent theme throughout Words for Life. And so by not assuming that everybody around you is an idiot, and by not assuming that you're wiser than everybody around you, then you'll open yourself to the opportunity to learn from everybody. And really, I think that in a more spiritual sense, you're learning from the fact that that God put you into this position in life, and for a reason, and the people that are around you are there for a reason, and they're there to be learned from. And it's really a beautiful thing that just staying humble will allow you to be open to in life.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, it was hard to decide on only 1 or 2, but I just wanted to mention that the first 3, one being humans are born with nothing, die with nothing, was so powerful, and in itself is, I feel like, the theme of the book. But also number 2, there is nothing you can lose. And again, to your point, it's kind of like the flip side to the first or earlier phrase. And also number 3, you are not living. It is God who is letting you live. Those 3 are so powerful. I really felt like these 3 phrases should be read out every morning to set your day in a very powerful but also spiritual and successful mindset. And yeah, I just want to put it on my door or on my refrigerator or on my window or on the mirror somewhere. But I did choose number 6 as my first contemplation. It reads, treasure every step you make every day in life. And this is so motivating. You could be anywhere in your life, at a high or a low or anywhere, and you can just take that one more step and be proud of yourself and keep going. So no matter how big or small that step is, treasure it. And I feel it's so precious, and we become so grateful for that moment, and that gratitude translates into more effort and more hope also. So yeah, number 6 was really, really dear to my heart.
Yeah, that one. They're all profound. Like you said, it was hard to choose just 2 for this. You know?
Yes.
And in a way, we kind of cheated and chose a few more than 2, but fair enough.
Yep.
Well, the second one that I chose is number 57. A huge gap between what people think on their conscious and subconscious levels makes them liars. And this one, I just feel they're all very pervasive, but this one you can really see it in people who are just disconnected from God and disconnected from their soul. And so the things that they proclaim themselves to believe in, the things that they advocate for in the world and in life are not true. And so even though they're saying things and they're doing things and behaving certain ways, believing in things, they're not actually true and they're not connected to the truth. And it's sad in a way. It's bittersweet because it's like on one hand, there's this potential that's there, like waiting to be unlocked in people and everybody. And yet, because they're not connected to that potential, they're living in this sort of oblivion where they're not, it's like the wool is pulled over their eyes in a way.
They do say you only use 10% of your mental capacity, brain or mind at any given time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that could be pushed, which maybe, I don't know. But generally speaking, yes, that's it. So in a way, and that's interesting because I wonder if like that also speaks to just the limitations of the human incarnation in a way. Like as much as we can go, there's always just going to be so much that is concealed from us, which is kind of profound and humbling, I think.
So in other words, this makes them like two-faced, right? Subconscious or when they think on their subconscious and conscious levels, when there's a huge gap. I wonder what are some of the telltale signs or clues to reflect on yourself or even spot it in other people of this kind of tendency.
Yeah, I think like one thing that I've seen a lot is when somebody claims that they are like perfectly like with full awareness of who they are in totality, and as though there's nothing left for them to learn, which kind of ties into the earlier one about thinking you're wiser than everybody. And I think that's so obviously a lie, because there's like this vast consciousness and that we're connected to, this vast universe, and so like I think that when somebody just seems totally closed off to life really, or is putting themselves into a place where they're maybe victim or, that type of thing.
Kind of like supreme arrogance and supreme victim mentality.
Which, I mean, really, if you're arrogant, I think it indicates subconsciously that you're not confident in yourself. And then if you're having this victim mentality, it's like subconsciously you must have such a strong resolution to live your life maintaining that. So, it's like there's these, polarity,
you're
right?
You're so convinced. Conviction that you're a victim.
Right.
That is so true. I do see it, sometimes in people. I'm like, wait, but you're not a victim. Like, why are you so sure that you are? That's interesting. But that kind of leads me to comment on number 51 through 56. And Master mentions people with no conviction 5 times. So the first one, 51, people with no conviction are opportunists. 52, people with no conviction defend themselves out of instinct. 53, people with no conviction are always looking for a way out. 54, people with no conviction are two-faced. 55, people with no conviction hate to be made a fool of. And just wanted to talk a little bit about the first one, people with no conviction are opportunists. We were chatting a little bit about this, but it's more like people with no conviction kind of go towards what will benefit them, right? They're kind of, I guess it's opportunists, but I feel like there's another word, like a benefit.
Maybe like they're just taking advantage of whatever's going to help them in that moment without having like, not being guided by like a core sense of values.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. And people with no conviction defend themselves out of instinct. Yeah, it's a very like animalistic mentality, always looking for a way out, or a two-faced, if you think about cats, they're like, oh, I'm so hungry and I'm cute right now, and then when they're not, you don't exist to them. Yeah.
That's funny.
And to hate to be made a fool of. That's very interesting. But again, it kind of touches on the arrogance and the victimhood of these kind of, personalities.
Yeah, and then when they're made a fool of, it's like it calls them out on it.
Right, it's
So,
like, how dare you?
Yeah. And then they have to also see what they're concealing from themselves. So yeah, it's
very interesting. So I thought it was worthy to note that he spent 5 different phrases on this topic.
Yeah.
Sorry to throw 6 more in there. Number 40, love deeply, quietly, and patiently. So the very little that I contemplated on this, I'm nowhere near deeply understanding, and I really, really want to. So this one really struck in my heart as the love that God has for all of us. And it's kind of like a godly mindset that you want to reach when you can look at your partner or your subordinate, your boss, or anyone you need to love more deeply, quietly, and patiently. Deeply as in there's always more to go. There's always more love to give. Quietly, it's like without complaining, maybe. I don't know. Without saying, well, I did this for you and that for you. And then patiently is just waiting for them to grow like flowers and bloom and know that they will bloom at some point. But I really felt like this was like God's love level that is very difficult to reach, but he's giving us the opportunity to kind of taste it and try it out. So yeah, I thought that was a really, really beautiful one.
Yeah. It's funny. Like when I read that one, I was like, wow, that's profound, and I'm going to have to return to it.
Yeah, me too.
And then like, and here we are, like, and like hearing it again and then hearing your explanation, it's like, it really is that. It is God's love, and which has to be the most patient of all, considering.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the state of the world, is what one of the Proverbs say, like, if you think the world is evil, you are evil. So I have to be careful there. I guess it just means to also look at the world as a place of love and humanity. No matter how dark it gets or how unpromising it gets, it's still a place that God created.
You know, when I started reading this book, I just like read it straight through, like one at a time. And there's one proverb on each page, so which is perfect because like it has, there's all this like negative space around it, which is perfect for like quietly contemplating it. And I did not personally find that there was any part of it that I disagreed with. And you know, and everybody's experience of reading it is going to be different. And I think that if there are things that you disagree with or that maybe are found to be confusing, or those are the proverbs that I think are worth really reflecting on and meditating with and sitting with, because I think it's indicating something about oneself. And I think that certain ones are going to jump out at you. And in a way, that's God telling you this is something to bring your attention to. And it's just a very beautiful, simple, but like profound, just really vastly profound. You know, there's so many layers of depth in each one of these statements. And yeah, I think we're very lucky to have this.
Yeah, definitely we are. That's all for today. Words for Life will be available at Amazon.com from the end of March.
Thanks for listening. We look forward to connecting next time.